All right, when it comes to starting and growing your land business, there are a lot of options for tools, and especially over the last few years, a lot more have come up. Here's my methodology when my clients ask, what tool should I use? What CRM, what mapping, what data software? My suggestion is that they're all about 90% the same, so whichever one you like the most and whichever one you will use is the one you should choose, okay? Now in this module, I go over the fundamental tools that we use in our business, the mapping softwares, the CRMs, et cetera, et cetera. But these are the tools we use, okay? If there's a CRM that you like better, if there's a data platform that you like how it looks better, and it will cause you to use it more, then that's the platform I want you to use. The purpose of this section is to give you kind of a base level understanding of how does the CRM set up, what tools are we using to evaluate deals, and so on and so forth. So a quick note, if you do want to sign up for any of these tools, it really helps us out if you use the link in the description. And again, if you need access to any of the resources in this course, you can use the other link in the description to get to those as well. All right, jump in. Hope you enjoy the tools of the trade module of the land funnel method. Okay, everybody, welcome back. In this module, Tools of the Trade, this is video 1, and we are going to be diving in to, well, some tools of the trade. All right, this video is titled Finding Deals. So I have made out a list of every tool that we use in the process of researching and then sending mail. So I'm going to go through all those tools in this video. Hey, we got a bunch of links below this. Really helps us out. You know, we try to get this course to you at a very low cost. Really, it's free. We don't make any money off this course because it actually costs money to get it to you. But anyhow, it helps us out a lot if you use the affiliates. Oftentimes, we can get you a better deal than what you see on the street anyhow. So it's really a good win-win for both parties, especially if you're looking to send mail. You can actually click a link below or fill out a form below, whatever it is. And our team will just kind of concierge help you get set up in order to send mail out. I know it can be kind of daunting if you haven't done it before, so feel free to use our resource below. My team is here, and we can explain how it works to you. I'll show you how it works here too, but we can actually go through the process of getting you set up, okay? So use those below, helps us out a bunch, and let's jump into it. Okay, so on my screen here, this is the back end of the service we use for mailing. It's called PostcardMania, or it's called, they have two names. One is PostcardMania, one is Rocket Print and Mail. Both the same company. They use the same backend portal. And this is just a little snippet of what it looks like. So got a bunch of stuff up here. What I'm showing you here is how they set up your letter. So you have this resource in the course. You can see that we actually use what we put out there. So this is our mailing letter. We have a bunch of different designs. And the great thing about working with us and working with them is this is our standard letter, but we have other letters in here, different designs. And the team at Rocket Print really just kind of took a Word document of what we wanted, and they were able to upload and create it. They have a creative department, and so they can help you actually create the letter. So great company to work with. Takes a lot of the stress off of you, a lot of the time getting this set up. Really, you just kind of pay them and they do everything. And by pay them, you pay them literally the best rate in the industry. I guarantee you, you cannot find mail for under 50 cents a letter, and we can get it to you for 50, sometimes closer to 40 cents a letter. So make sure you reach out. We would love to help you out with that. Okay. But anyhow, this is the designs. You basically give them one, they upload it, and then you need to make sure that your data sheet that you send them has all this information in it. Right. So that's very simple. All you do is give them the document, they upload it, they take care of everything else for you. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go down to stats, and I'm going to go to mail tracking. And this is a great thing here. So you can see that, you know, this is kind of our mailers. I guess I won't zoom down too much more, but these are our mailers through last month. They're through the last couple months here. And you can see the quantities and, you know, what we're sending, all that kind of stuff. But I just like this page because it gives you a quick glance at, hey, has this mailer hit? Am I expecting another round of calls? What's going on, right? So the great thing is you can click into it and it'll tell you, hey, on these days, these are, and it'll give you an estimate at the beginning, and then it will come back and actually update it. So they know when the mail is delivered, and it'll come in here and tell you what percentage of mail has been delivered. So you can very quickly see when it was delivered, how much has been delivered, and a really handy tool for tracking your mailers. And also at the end of the year, if you want to come back and look at your numbers, see how much mail you sent, see what kind of deals you did, all that kind of stuff, you have it all right here. So it's super, super easy to get set up with PostcardMania. And really, I mean, the setup is, I guess, the most or the biggest process, but the great thing is once you're set up, all you do is you take that Excel sheet that we created in a previous module and you just email it to them. That simple. As soon as you have this set up, you got your letter template set up, you're set up in their system. All you do is you email it to their account manager and they will send you back a proof, normally a day later, and say, does this look right? You look at the proof, you send them back a thumbs up, and they send it out take care of everything. We used to use a couple other services where you have to upload your list and match your list and do all this stuff. And man, just being able for no extra fee to just email them and let them take care of it is really, really great. So if you're interested in getting set up with them, we would love to help you out with that. Click the link below and we'll hook you up. All right. Rocket Print and Mail, great prices, really good service. Okay, so jump back in here. The next tool we use, and you've seen me do this in previous modules and in some of the bonus videos, I go through a full example of front to end, how we would decide on an area, price a mailer, etc. For this example, I'm just going to show you the nuts and bolts of it. So this is Falls County, Texas, just a random county I've chosen. And this county right here, I'm just going to pretend that we're going to create a mailer for, okay? So unfortunately, in DataTree, there's no perfect way to just say, hey, I want this outline. All right. You'd think there would be, but there's not. So you generally have to just come in here and recreate it. So I just pull them both up on the map like this, the Google outline. And then I have DataTree open and I just like come in here and try and recreate it. So let's just do that real quick. What you're going to use is you're going to click this little tool here. You're going to click polygon, and then I'm going to come and kind of recreate this. And if I remember correctly, it was like Mart to there down to Burlington, and then just complete the rectangle. Let's do that. Let's go Mart down to Bruceville Eddy, Burlington. Okay. So over to here, Bruceville Eddy, down to Burlington, right around there. And now I'm just going to complete this. So go right here. Close enough. It's not going to be perfect. And for all the perfectionists watching this, and I say, oh my God, it's not the exact same thing. I'll tell you one thing, some of the best deals I've found is because I didn't draw my circles perfectly. And I actually let it bleed over into another area. And someone called that may not have gotten a letter before, said, hey, what is this? Right. We've done many deals like that, some of our best deals. All right. Anyhow, so we've got our area selected. Now what happens is you come in and you got 20,000 records, right? We need to get this down to land, just land. So again, if you want to use this for houses, that's great. That's not my lane. So we'll use this for land. And again, I showed you just in a previous video, but you can create these custom forms, and you really just come in here and you just choose all the forms you want, or all the fields you want rather, and you can just save it with a name. And as you can see, there's a lot of fields here. So if I don't have them trimmed down, I just get lost normally. So I just trim it down to a little simpler form. And you can just look at this or pause the video and you'll see all the different fields that we use. All right. So now we're here. We need to go down and we need to take this and just choose our vacant land types. Okay. And I'm going to do that again. I just come in here and type VAC, and then I click that button, and then I push get count. So it's going to go down from 19,000 to 2,000. So now we're down to vacant land. And now for me, I've done this a long time, that just seems a little low to me. So I'm going to check something here. Okay. Lucky example. So I'm actually going to delete this. I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to come down here and I am going to look for assessed improvement percentage. Okay. So this is the county saying how, like, what percentage is this property improved? A single family home would be 100%, I think. What we look for, generally vacant land up to land with like a fence and a barn, is 0 to 10% as a general. Again, this is county to county, but in general, it's 0 to 10%. So I like to compare these numbers. It said there was 2,300 when I just chose vacant land. Okay. And keep in mind, vacant land is DataTree's interpretation of what is vacant. So they could have interpreted correctly. They could have not. Assessed percentage is a good way to check it. So let me push get count here. And now I can see it's up to 11,000. So that gives me a little bit of worry there. And it tells me that probably assessed improvement percentage is the right number. Okay. Just thinking, I'm just looking at that number just did not seem right to me. 2,000 seemed way too low. So I'm going to let this load. Yeah, 11,000. So, and if we take this out again, we go up to 19,000. So sometimes you got to play around and kind of see what filters really work, which ones make sense, which one gets you to the right data set. I'm going to use this one for now. I'm going to go 0 to 10, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to choose a very specific acreage. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to choose 5 to 10 acres just because I want to look. I just want to see. Okay, 900. You have to get under 1,000 to be able to view it on the map. So we got under 1,000. I want to push view results. And when I'm not sure which filter is working correctly, I like to come in here and view the results on the map and make sure that that this criteria we've put in is giving us vacant land. All right. Vacant, vacant. That's actually technically vacant. That's technically vacant, vacant, vacant. looks pretty good. I'll check a few different areas just to make sure. Vacant, vacant. I only got a house on it. It's got a trailer on it. Little tiny cabin. Most of these are vacant. If we're at 90%, I feel pretty good. If I see a bunch of houses popping in there, it makes me want to turn it down. If you are going to just by happenstance going to get houses from time to time, can't really fix it unless you just look at everything like this. But okay, almost all of these parcels look vacant to me. Looks like a couple may slip in that aren't, but it's clear that the majority of the 0% assessed are vacant parcels. So good deal. That confirms my thinking here. So now what I need to do is I need to come in here and I need to decide what acreage am I going to send to. All right. So instead of using vacant land like we did here, right, I'm just going to use this as the filter because it seems to give us the correct amount of results. And so now you need to come in here and decide what acreage do you want to target, right? This is going to very much be dependent on the price point and the kind of funding you're working with. I like to tell people not to limit themselves too much. Like some people will think, oh, I can only mail because my budget's so small. I can only mail 2 to 10 acre properties, right? And you get in here, and yeah, that's fine. You get a good list, 1,800. But at the end of the day, I just don't like limiting. Some of my best deals have been big deals. So for me, I always look at, right, what is my minimum deal criteria? For me, my minimum deal criteria is generally I want to make 10,000 bucks on a deal. I know in this area, land's worth around $7,000 an acre. So I would need to do at least 3 acres, right? 21,000. If I bought it at 50% of market value, that'd be about 10, 10, and 10. There you go. That's generally still kind of small for us. So what I'm going to look for is I'm going to look for 5 acres up to 160 acres. That's a quarter section. Let's see what we get here. So 6,000, right? There's a lot of pieces of land in there. Another thing you can do to trim this down a little bit, maybe you say, shoot, I don't have the money to send 6,000 mailers. I don't want to send 6,000 mailers. My little tactic that I normally do is I come down and I look and I put in here the last sale date. Okay. And I say was before, and I just go back like 10 years or 8 years or whatever. And I choose that and let's see if that works here. Okay. So it doesn't work too well here. This filter sometimes works great. Sometimes it doesn't work great. So there's that. You can also do this if you need to trim your list down. You can come and choose where you want to mail to. So I'm going to say mailing state is not Texas. All right. So this is all the people who own land in this county, but they don't live in the state of Texas. Right. That's generally a good indicator. Now we're down to 182. So you see that a lot of people live in Texas. Maybe something you could do here is you can say mailing state is Texas. You say mailing county is not Falls. Okay. Let's see what we get here. And let's see what some of the surrounding counties are. Again, what we're doing here is we're trying to get our list down to something that works for our budget, right? If you got the money and you can just fire away, you go for it. So we see here that we have, where I just saw it. North of here, around here, Falls. There it is. Okay, Falls. So Bell County, Milam County, Coryell County. Let's just put those in, just for example. I'll put in Bell, put in Coryell, I'll put in Milam. So let's just say basically what we're saying is, hey, I want to know who in this list owns land in this area, but does not live in these specific surrounding counties. And again, you could extend that, whatever. You may want to add in Williams County, Travis County, because this is where Austin is. Let's just start with that. Let's see what we get. All right, now we have 2,000 results. So these are all people who don't live within basically an hour of the property. They haven't sold it in the last 10 years. Honestly, this probably isn't correct. DataTree just sometimes doesn't have all the data back that far. So it's trying its hardest, but it's not always perfect. So with this right here, now you've cut your list down to 2,000, probably a reasonable mailing, right? And you could send that. Or you could send the opposite. Like you can really go through whatever you want. You could take all this out here, just run this, have a big list. It's 5,000. And you could come down here for when you're ready to export it. And you could just say, I just want to export the first 3,000, right? And then later you can come back and export 3,001 to the end, right? So really, these are all mechanisms. At the end of the day, if you have the money and the budget, just mail everybody. You never know. I've bought from companies. I've bought from churches. I bought from people who live out of state, who live out of county. I've bought people who live next door, live next door to the property. One of my best deals actually was somebody who owned a bigger parcel next door and just wanted to sell it, and they wanted somebody who was going to do what they wanted to do with the property because they still live next door, and it just worked out. So you never know is what I'm trying to say. These filters are not perfect. They're not going to tell you who's the most motivated person. But at the end of the day, these are kind of the levers I pull in DataTree in order to get my list where I want it to be. Okay. So after you push export, again, you can apply templates. So this is my mailing template. And if you want to pause this and look at this, you can. You also have a template spreadsheet. So you have all these fields, but you can come in here and just put all these in for the first time. And after you do that, just push save as template and then save it as your mailing template so that you don't have to come in every time and drag over. You can just click your button up here. So you give it a name. This is how we normally do our list. So this is the area. This was West LaFleur, 4 to 45 acres. OOS was out of state. So we normally leave little tags on there so we know what we did, right? 4 to 45 acres, out of state, out of county, everybody, whatever it is. Put the name on it. You always click this box. Okay, this is why we use DataTree. So important. This will save you so much money that you don't even know you were going to waste otherwise. All right. All the other people like CoreLogic and Agent Pro and CoStar, all these people who make you pay for your data, they rarely give you the option to take out duplicate owners, right? And a lot of times what you'll find is people, right? People will own a lot of properties. So if they own 30 properties in the same county, do we need to send them 30 letters? Of course not. We just need to send them one, right? So it's going to remove those duplicates out. And I'm not going to export this, but the duplicates normally remove about 30 to 50%. So just keep that in mind. If you have 5,500 here, I would guess it would drop to around 3,000. Texas, even a little more, maybe 2,500 or something like that. A lot of duplicate property owners. Maybe you bought 2 lots next to each other. That's a duplicate owner, right? Don't need to mail them twice, just once. So you would push this, you would export, out it would pop, and then you can watch the acquisitions module to see what we did, how we finished pricing that. Okay. On to our next tool here. Okay, another great tool I want to give a shout out to is Prycd. These were developed by 2 great land guys. They actually built this site. It's pretty cool. They're active duty military, and they built this while they're in the military. They're smart dudes. And this is a software that at the end of the day, its goal is to help you price. It's to help you get the prices on it. Now, look, I'm going to give my honest opinion is that I don't allow my team to use this as a shortcut. It is a shortcut. If it's accurate is another thing. Sometimes it's spot on, couldn't be better. Sometimes it's not, right? So we kind of follow our own process, which is more in depth. I'll give you a little taste of it here, but a little more in depth. But we do use Prycd for a specific part of that. So let me show you real quick. I'm going to come in here and click price land. And I'm just going to show you how I use it. There's a lot of different ways to use this software. It's really cool. But again, I will just tell you from my point of view, I use this as a tool, not as a easy button. Okay. There is an option as an easy button in here where you can just push a button and let Prycd guess for you. Okay. And again, sometimes it's right, but sometimes it's not. And so you got to take that all with a grain of salt. So let me go to Falls County, Texas. Okay. I'm going to push advanced search here. And I'm going to go back to what we were looking at. So we were looking at 5 to 160 acres. All right. And I'm going to put in acreage increments of 10. Actually, let's put 20. So it's not too many. And down here, everything's pretty good. One thing I always do is I just put in the improvement percentage as 0. Put in 0 to 10 even. That's just going to be vacant land, right? Kind of ensure that. And I always put, I also put here, this is actually just a recommendation from Max and Ryan. They just told me to put these in here. So I put in no house square footage and no improvements basically. And then let's just push search. Okay. And Prycd is going to go through here and it's going to analyze and do a bunch of things. So I'm going to show you, they will spit out and tell you, and they have a way you can export and use their pricing. What I use this tool for mostly is comps. Okay. It's really competitively priced for like under $100 a month. You can basically get all the comps you'll ever need. And so what this software does in the background is it's running algorithms, it's pulling data, it's trying to guess for you. And so you can see here, right? So for the acreage range, let's go down. So 5 to 25, it's given me 1,700 an acre. 7,000 market, 1,700 an acre for offer price. And you can look at this for the different acreage ranges here. So this is Prycd's guess, right? And sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. I'm not going to try and come in here and guess right now. There's that. Let me show you how I use this. I come in and click this button for all of this, okay? And I say for sale and sold comps. I click this here, and it pops this thing up here, okay? And it's going to load all these comps in that basically all the comps that it's using in order to build this list, it's going to pull in here. Now, let me do one thing that I just messed up a little bit. I'm going to go back, just going to click back here. I'm going to change my search just slightly. This acreage increment, I'm going to put it as my max acreage. Okay. And why do I do that? Just watch real quick. It's going to basically, because what we just did is we told Prycd, hey, I want you to look at this in 20-acre increments. So it gave it to me in 20-acre increments. Now it's here in just one full increment. So I can click export. I can click for sale and sold comps. And now it's going to give me all the comps it used, 165 of them. These are all the comps that used to come up with this numbers. And you can actually just push export here, and it'll kick you out an Excel sheet, and this Excel sheet will have all of that information in there. Okay. It will have all the specific comps that you use in order to come up with the price. So I think that's pretty cool. You got to remember some states are non-disclosure states like Texas, Florida. I'm sure I'm missing some, but they don't require you to disclose a sales price on a deed. So sometimes comps can be a little wonky. They'll say zero, or they'll say $10 or $1,000 when really it's probably a lot more than that. So just keep that in mind. But so this is cool. We use this, we pop our comps out here. And this is really all I use Price for. So I'll show you what I do with these comps in just a second when I hop over to our next tool. Okay, so another tool that I have come to love is Google My Maps. Okay, I wish I had known about this and had this process when I started, but Google My Maps is really cool. Now, fair warning, we have other courses and some of our other programs about this. This is a really in-depth process. Okay, it's a multiple hours of watching videos, learning. So I'm not going to go through the whole process of how I use this here, but I'm going to kind of show you what we do. Okay. And you can take that and adapt it if you'd like, but this is how we use Google My Maps. Really what it is it lets you create custom little maps. Okay. Custom little maps where you can annotate and put data in and do all sorts of cool things. And this is one of our maps. Okay. So when my team comes in and when they are pricing an area, all right, what we look at here is what we do is we actually upload these comps. So the comps that we just got out of Priced, the ones I just downloaded, we come in here and upload them, and they create these pins on the map. And again, it's a whole long process. I'm not going to do it in this video. You can come in and play with the software. You'll figure out how to do it. But we put all our data on a map, right? So you can see here for this specific, this is Mojave County, Arizona. What I'm doing here is I'm going to take out. Okay, so we also have our mailing data in here, which you'll see pop up. These are all of our mailers that we exported from DataTree. But what we're looking at here is just our comps. And we have our comps broken out in actual different acreage ranges too. Let me just turn these off for a second. And just so you can see, taking this down, these are all the data sets you added. Okay, so you can come in here, add a layer, actually add your data set in. But in here, we import our comps, and we come in and we look at them. If my team did it right, we'll click it, and you'll see that we have some notes here as to what the prices are for the different acreage ranges. Okay, I don't want to. The reason I'm not going super in depth on this is because this is a super complex process that really complicates how you do mail. Not going to lie, it makes it more complicated. This process does. And if you are someone that's newer and just getting started, you do not need a complex process. Okay. You need to go through the steps I told you, choose a county, find the pricing, send the mail. All right. When you grow your business to a point where you're trying to scale and where you're trying to hire people and you're trying to get other people to do the mail for you, which should not happen until you send at least 250,000 pieces of mail yourself. And that's a small number, but you should send at least that much before trying to outsource this. You need to have a process and a workflow. And this is what we use, right? So again, that is what we teach in coaching. That's what we do in some of our higher level mastermind groups. I'm kind of showing you exactly what we do here, but I don't want to overstimulate and give you too much stuff because at the end of the day, this is just a really complex process so that you can outsource your mailing. And that's not really what we're going through here today, but I do want to show you the tool, right? So what these pins are is they're the data set. This is all the data that we got from Priced. It tells us where's the source, how much was it. This up here is price per acre, and then it actually has the link to the specific comp. So our team comes in and we look at comps and we group them in areas and we draw these little rectangles on here. And you can just click into the rectangles and you can take notes on them. And we just put the notes on what the prices are. Right. And this is how later on, after we have done our mailer, we can come back and say, oh, that went well. That did not go well. We overpriced this. We underpriced this. So that next time we come and we want to send this again, we will know what the prices are. So My Maps, cool tool. As long as you have your Excel sheets with your data in it, You can come in here and you can import them, and you can actually visualize everything on the map. So we'll give you that to work with, play with. It's definitely fun and cool. But again, I see this so often that people want to figure out how this works, but they don't want to actually build a business. All right. They want to figure out how DataTree works, but they don't actually want to spend $30,000 sending mail through DataTree. They want to figure out how Google My Maps works, but they don't want to use it to analyze 30 counties, right? You need to get through the mechanics of how you do this before you try and go super in depth with some of these crazy tools. Okay. All the basics really are DataTree, somewhere to send your mail, and a phone. That's all you need at the end of the day. We need to send, you need to find them, you need to send it to them, you need to answer the phone when they call. It's really all you need. There's a lot of other fancy, cool stuff we can use vis-a-vis what I'm showing you here, but definitely encourage you not to overwhelm yourself. Very easy to just do one county at a time, price one area at a time, and send that mail versus trying to build a beautiful, perfect system that honestly breaks quite a bit, not gonna lie. So anyhow, hope this helps. Let me jump over to our next tool. Okay, a couple more little tools for you here. We use this service called Traveling Mailbox, pretty cheap. I think it's $20 a month, and it's a virtual mailbox. So you get a lot of return mail. You don't want all that coming to your house. Traveling Mailbox is handy for that. We use DirectSkip in order to. So sometimes we need to get phone numbers and email addresses for people. So you can actually take your list, right, the data tree list you create with addresses and names. You can send it off to someone like DirectSkip, and they will send you back their best guess at phone numbers and email addresses. This is high. If you go through us, you'll pay less than 10 cents. So definitely encourage you to hit our link below. But DirectSkip, good quality skip tracing, pretty price effective, especially if you buy in bulk. So look out for our sales when we do that. Another one, if you need just one off, like if you need one off, like to find a neighbor or to find somebody's information, there's this website called TruePeopleSearch.com, and it's free. Okay. I'm actually terrified to search myself. I'm not going to. But I love in one of the previous videos, I showed you a deal we were working on, and we had access issues. We had to contact a neighbor. This is what we use for stuff like that. We find the neighbor's name, we find their address, and we search. And it for free will give you the best guess at email addresses and phone numbers. And it's pretty dang good, to be honest with you, especially for being completely free. You can come in here and use it as many times as you want and look up people. And it's really, really pretty dang accurate. So that's a cool one. If you're interested in text messaging, so I just believe in mail. It just works so well for me. It's very hard for me to want to change. We have recently added text messaging to our business as well. So we use this platform called LeadSherpa. It's really great, pretty expensive, but hey, you know what? You get what you pay for. So we do like LeadSherpa, and for all of our SMS blasting, this is what we use. And Mojo Dialer, I don't do cold calls personally, just don't have a desire to, but a lot of people do. Maybe a lot of people watching this may have a skill set in cold calling that you've developed from searching for fix and flips or wholesale deals or whatever. At the end of the day, all these services are just a way to get in front of your ideal person, right? Landowner that meets these criterias. You need to talk to them. You need to make them an offer. That's the mechanics of this at the end of the day. Whether it's mail, it's a cold call, it's a text message, that's up to you. I teach mail because mail works predictably. It works predictably. About every $1,000 you spend in mail, you will get a good deal that meets that $10,000 criteria. That's 1,000% return on investment minimum, right? So over time, yeah, that's what we see around 2,000 to 3,000 letters will get you a good deal sustained. And so we just scale that. Now, other people are great at text messaging, great at cold calling, not knocking any of that down. Some people do really, really well. I have a client who did $1.4 million in profit last year, and all they do is cold call and cold text. So it definitely works. For me, mail is my go-to, and so that is what we use. Okay, so hope this was helpful. These are a lot of the different tools that we use for sourcing, finding people's information, getting in contact with them, and seeing if they want to sell their properties. All right, I hope this helps, and we will see you in the next video on Tools of the Trade. All right, bye.